This is a video tutorial on quadratic functions. In this video, we'll be looking at the intercepts of functions. The general form of the quadratic function is f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, or in factored form, x plus p in brackets, x plus q in brackets. And we've been over this before where we can factorize quadratic functions and quadratic expressions by finding two numbers where p and q multiply to a times c and p plus q adds up to the value of b. If the value of a is greater than 0, f of x is concave up, meaning that it's kind of cupped upwards. If the value of a is less than 0, so it's a negative, so for example, f of x is equal to negative 3x squared, then f of x is concave down. Oops, sorry, I apologize for that. And you can think of that as it being cupped downwards, so to speak. The y-intercept is found at the point 0, x equaling 0, and the function value of 0, so f of 0. The x-intercept is found at the points, it may have 2, 1, or none, but the x-intercept is found at the points x1 and 0 and x2, 0, where x1 and x2 might be some values. So let's calculate the x and y intercepts of the following functions. Like before, I like to use headings to let myself know what I'm calculating. I always begin with the y-intercept because it is the easiest point to calculate. So in this point, we let x equal 0, so we take f of 0 equaling, that's 0 squared minus 5 times 0 is 0, plus 6, well that is 6. So the y-intercept is at 0, 6. Let's now find the x-intercepts. In this case, y is equal to 0. In this case, we take the function x squared minus 5x plus 6, and we let the entire expression equal 0. And as you can see, this is a quadratic equation. You can solve this in whichever way you like. For me, I will solve this using factoring. So this will be x plus 1, x minus 6 equaling 0. This will give me the two solutions, x plus 1 equals 0, and x minus 6 equals 0, x equals positive 6. So my two x-intercepts are at negative 1, 0, and 6, 0. Okay, so that's my y-intercept for this function and my x-intercepts for this function. Okay, let's move right along. Let's do this, and let's do another example here. Once again, let's find the y-intercept first. It's the easiest one. We let x equal 0. So we take g of 0 equaling, well, it's going to be 0 squared minus 8 times 0 plus 16. I'm just going to skip everything because I know g of 0 is going to be 16. So my y-intercept is at 0, 16. Let's now find the x-intercept. That is at y is equal to 0. Well, for this, I'm just going to take my quadratic expression, minus 8x plus 16, just copying it from here, and we'll let all of this is equaling 0. Once again, you can solve this in whichever way you like. I'm going to solve this using factoring. We should get x two numbers that multiply to negative 16 but add to negative 8, I'm getting negative 4 and negative 4. I can simplify this further, equaling x minus 4 squared equaling 0. Solving this using completing the square methods, we take the square root of both sides, like so, and moving this value of 4 to the other side, we get, positive 4. So in this scenario, we only have one x-intercept at 4, 0. Okay. Let's move on to our last example here. In this case, we will find the y-intercept again, nice and easy. X equaling 0. So we get h of 0, skipping all the rest. I know that's 0 minus 0, take away 15. So my y-intercept is at 0, negative 15. Let's now find our x-intercept at y equaling 0. So we take our expression 2x squared minus x minus 15 equaling 0, and we solve this in whichever way you like. The moment I see something so difficult like this, I opt for my quadratic function straight away. So in this case, a equals 2. A equals 2, b equals negative 1, c equals negative 15. In case you've forgotten the quadratic function, our quadratic formula, it is x equals minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Substituting all our values in, we get x is equal to minus b, so minus 1, it's 1, plus minus b squared, negative 1 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 15. Let's take the square root of all of this, all over 2a, or 2 times 2. Let's now solve this. Let's take the positive solution first. Okay, let's write this madness in. Get 1 plus negative 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 15 whole square root all over 2 times 2. So x is equaling 3 as one of my solutions. X equals, so that is the plus, so we took the positive of this. So now let's take the negative version instead. So let's take this exact same equation, let's do a minus instead. A minus instead. We get negative 2.5. So my two x-intercepts for this equation, we get 3, 0 and negative 2.5, 0. So I hope that gave you an insight into calculating the x-intercepts, shown here at the bottom, and the y-intercepts of quadratic functions. Hope to see you in the next video. Best of luck.